So, hello guys, and welcome back to the continuation of the Wales Chronicles that I'm doing here in Wales in the caravan. So, I'm Helena, as I like to introduce myself again, and as I already said in my previous episode, we are staying in a caravan in Wales, and I'm here together with my good friend Luke, who is also here saying
Hey.
hello to you. So this is Luke, and he was also in the episode where we were doing the meditation,
Yeah.
which was
That was
super cool.
yeah, no, yeah, it's nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, this is the caravan where we're staying. We have a very nice burning stove here and a little kitchen corner, and this is our living space,
Yeah.
our very nice living
A
living.
huge collection of ferns I have found in the forest just yesterday, and there's just endless numbers of them. Been trying to go through and identify them.
Right. Yeah. So Luke went for a walk yesterday and said he found about 9 species of different ferns,
Mm.
which are in the Wales forest and which you cannot really find anywhere. So 9 species of different ferns. So basically, we are staying in this little caravan, and it's a steady caravan. It's pretty old and pretty nice now that we have heated it up. So in the previous episode that I was doing, then it was all a little bit gloomy and all because we hadn't really settled in. But now we have settled in here. We have made a nice fire and also get more familiar with the people we are staying together with. So there's a very, very nice couple we are staying together. And they have a big land with vegetable gardens and all of these good things that you will see if you go into countryside, out of the world and out from the societies and city life and all of these other crazy things that human minds can come up with. So I feel like life is much brighter now. It's a lot brighter, but the weather outside is very, very gloomy. Um, and I got all sorts of ideas in my head that I wanted to talk about, but as usually happens, the ideas in my head keep on going so many directions that I end up talking about all sorts of other things and not the things that I initially came up with. So I thought I will just sort of introduce what we are doing here, what we are doing in this place, and why we are here, and just continue continue the series in this way right now. So what we're doing is we are helping the family to work on their land because it's the end of the season. So at the end of the season, there is a lot of land work of putting the land into sleep. And they have a lot of gardens here. I will also show this gardens and vegetable stuff maybe in one of my videos and how life is here like. So it's the southern part of Wales. And in the southern part of Wales, you have it very different. There is not so many mountains and these type of national regions where you see how the landscapes are forming. But before, a few days ago, we were driving around in the mountains and in the valleys in Snowdonia National Park, which was all pretty beautiful. But here it's a little bit more, how do you say, milder. It's a lot milder. And life here is basically pretty easygoing. I myself feel like very eased because there is not a lot of things going around like internet and electricity, but it's much more in nature. And I feel like when you are in nature, then you get more in contact with the way world is. As I like to say, nature doesn't lie to you, and it's very peaceful, very peaceful to be here, to be having this space of living. As you know, I've been living in the streets and in different areas, so to stay in a hut that is warm and that has like safe ground and safe place of being. It's actually very gratifying, and I would like to continue it in this way. It helps to get more in contact with yourself and with your own being, your own primordial beingness. So today we were quite a few hours we were walking in the land to learn about permaculture, to learn more about sustainable living. This community has been here for about 13 years now. The place started around 2010, and since then, the family we are staying with have been developing this land very nicely. And just today, the woman called Melissa, she was introducing us their big vegetable gardens and how it is for them, and also teaching how to make compost, how to make permaculture compost, to how to mix it together, how to make it even, and how to offer homes for the microbes who are helping to break the compost into parts so that in the springtime there can be new growth inside it. And what I was thinking about during this work that we were doing, that this type of life is actually very nice because it reduces like these basic human worries and troubles of consumerism, meaning that you yourself are in charge of your life. And when you're growing your own stuff, when you're in charge of your life in this way, this means that when something happens, then you're able to sustain yourself and not be dependent on somebody else or somebody else's troubles, worries, or how somebody else is living. When there is like a bomb crashing somewhere, then you know that you will be staying alive. So yeah, life here in the caravan is actually pretty simple. What we are doing is we are trying to keep it harmonious, and we haven't got into any fights yet, which is great news, super great news.
We've got on pretty well, really, haven't we?
We have gotten pretty well. We have gotten really well because we kind of, because you know when you're staying in a place where with somebody else, you always have to make sure that you make communal agreements and that you don't invade into each other's personal space.
Exactly,
But yeah, thanks for agreeing. But but at the same time, you have to like know that you are also sharing a space with each other.
Mm.
So I'm just sort of talking about things that come to my mind.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you want to, you can actually join in and also share your own ideas. It would be actually pretty nice if you would like to.
Ooh, okay.
Um, all right.
Oh, it's warm in Maria, isn't it?
It's
Goodness.
super warm.
It's great.
Yes, it's super warm. So we have also Luke joining in,
Hello, hello.
and yeah, and
Mm,
so it's actually very nice to
mm,
introduce Luke as well,
mm, mm,
because Luke is my travel partner right
mm,
now, and I also asked Luke if he would like to be more in the series during the Wales Chronicles,
mm.
which is
Yeah,
very nice that you
yeah,
agree
because
with it,
yeah,
which is super
yeah.
cool. Because Luke is a very amazing person, very
Oh,
nice
thank you.
human being,
It's very
and
kind.
yeah. So uh, I feel like it would be pretty nice if you talked a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, yeah, about myself.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. What would you like to know?
just about your life, your maybe about your tree work that you've been doing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
So, yeah, I work with trees. That's my job. That's my so I've been a tree officer before. I studied forest management at university. So for me, it's all about trees. I'm always looking at what the trees
yeah,
are
so
doing
Luke is very much of a
wherever I am.
forest and nature person,
Yeah, yeah.
and he's also interested in paganism.
Oh yeah, very much. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I've been a pagan since I was very young, actually. Um, yeah, I mean, I suppose when I was about 12, 13, 14, that's really when I was getting into um, like reconnecting with nature, really. That's when I was getting into paganism, and then when I was as part of an extension of that,
yeah.
I then got when I was 14, I started getting into bushcrafts and like survival skills, and
Yeah.
um,
So Luke has also been doing a lot of camping and
yeah,
a lot of wildlife, wild camping,
yeah, thanks for that.
traveling into places, living in tents off
Mm.
grid, and
Oh,
knows a lot about this
yeah, yeah.
survivalist topics.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I've got this tiny little coffin tent. I mean, you've seen, all my friends
yeah,
have seen. It's this
yeah,
tiny
yeah.
little tent that fits one person, and it's so efficient. It's so lightweight, and I just bring it with me whenever I need to camp somewhere. Um, and this year I probably spent like 90 nights in that tent total. Probably,
19
yeah,
nights in a
probably
tent.
something like that. Because I've done so much over the summer, and then I've been camping so much on the weekends. Um, yeah, honestly, I spent loads of night, and that's nothing compared to like how I've had that tent for about how long now? About 4 years now, and
Yes,
I've
and it's been serving you super well
it
because
has been,
you
yeah,
can sleep there
yeah,
and yeah, it's super nice to have these little coffins and tents we can carry around with us,
yeah, exactly,
so
yeah,
that when we
yeah,
want to be
mm,
sleeping somewhere,
yeah,
then it's easy. We don't have to
mm,
find a hostel or find a place, but we
yeah.
just find a secluded area.
Love
Yeah.
the freedom of that. So I just came
Yes.
back from holiday on the Isle of Man, and I could have um probably booked up some like hostels or something, or some B&B or something in advance, but I decided not to because I really like the freedom of just being able to take all my stuff with me and then just see where I end up at the end of the day and then just camp there. And
Yes, you let your spirit flow. You let
yeah, exactly.
your life flow in a way that you don't,
Yeah.
create conditions around it,
Mm,
but you
mm,
just, you let it flow. And when you feel like
yeah.
you have had enough, you can fall asleep, and that's it.
Mm.
It's very easy, very simple.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about, oh, I've got to get back to this particular place to get back to the B&B or anything, and I can kind of continue the exploration um through the night because like I'm in camping in a place that is kind of like a continuation of it. It's very places are always very different. Like if you go to like I was at a very wild and rugged woodland glen that was in on the Isle of Man. It was near the coast and it leads on to this to this beach, and there was loads of huge waterfalls coming down and everything, and it was very pleasant in the day. And this place was known um, for being inhabited by supernatural spirits and by fairies.
Oh,
and it was
great.
known.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
might think fairies, oh, Tinkerbell,
And you
Disney.
can tune into the fairyland, I think,
Yeah,
very,
yeah.
very easily,
Yeah, and
right?
you might
Yeah.
think, oh, that's not scary at all. But then when you read the mythology about Manx fairies and what they were like, they're pretty scary.
So,
They're much more akin to
yeah.
ghosts. And
So your
they're
island is also full of fairies, right?
absolutely, it's
Yeah,
very, but yeah, it's
yeah.
probably the biggest place where that mythology and that folklore is still very much alive. And there's traditions where if you go past certain
And you can also
bridges,
feel it in the land.
yeah,
You very
absolutely,
strongly feel it
yeah.
in the earth.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's such a big part of the local culture there. And camping in this glen at the night time, suddenly at the night time became quite spooky. I unexpected how spooky it became in this glen. And then when you wake up and you make it through the night and it's morning and it's dawn,
Yeah,
and you wake up in this forest and you're already there.
yeah.
And there's a very particular feeling I've always noticed that comes out of waking up in the forest when you've been there the whole time. It's like you're part of that
Yes,
woodland, really.
you come part of it,
Yeah.
and then you have to
Mm,
feel how the woodland is sort of taking you in,
absolutely.
and
Yeah,
in
yeah.
which way.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, and what I also wanted to note was that
Mm,
usually when like you meet with these spirits, forest spirits,
mm.
and the ones that can be a little bit spooky,
Yeah.
yeah, fairies can be spooky
Yeah.
depending on fairy.
Yeah, for sure.
But
For sure.
if you meet with them, I feel like what you have to do is you always have to be very loving towards them, so
Mm,
that they don't spook you out, but they
yeah.
feel that also you are welcoming them.
I've definitely
Yeah,
noticed that if I um tune in if I'm feeling allowing myself to feel frightened and if I'm allowing myself to be frightened, I feel like in that process you're tuning into the more frightening aspects of where you are,
yeah, and
the
then you
place that
can
you're
get
in.
into like a
Yeah.
survival instinct,
Yeah.
and feeling like whether you will be welcomed by
Mm,
them or not,
mm.
and
Yeah.
all of these feelings.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
and
self
it can be really tough.
yeah,
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 the
absolutely.
self-preservation.
Yeah, it's a cycle
Yeah,
that perpetuates itself. If you trying to trying to tap into the more positive aspects of the place that you're in, whether it's a forest at night or whether it's a strange place, wherever it is that you're staying. If you tap into the positive aspects, I really find that I feel like you're inviting more positive energies and shutting out the
yeah,
more
yeah,
negative parts.
yeah,
And I
for
don't know,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely feel like there's something working there.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, and I've noticed that for sure.
And the more you do it, the more it
Mm,
actually allows to open
mm,
itself up and
yeah,
to to share what it has to offer. Because
mm,
when they see
mm,
that you are a kind spirit there, that you are welcoming them as they are welcoming you, then you can also
yeah,
find that you are in a place where you actually belong.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
you can find some very, very
yeah,
deep resonations.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, and I've definitely I noticed at the time, the forests where I go, and I spend a lot of time doing that, you
yeah,
definitely get this sense of, yeah, this sense of friendship. You get this familiarity. You get this, you feel like there's an ongoing relationship with this particular place. And that's a really important part of
yeah,
my
yeah,
paganism, really. That's really the core of it, because it's
yeah,
very
yeah, yeah.
animistic.
Oh,
I
you
don't,
have a
oh,
spider in
oh,
it.
oh.
Oh,
Was it a
oh
big
my good
spider?
God. Very beautiful one. What
Was
happened
it,
to it?
what kind was it?
It was a brown one. Very, very
Okay.
beautiful. Just, yeah, we have a lot
Is
of
it gone?
spiders.
Am I spider free?
Oh, I hope you
Everyone, am I
didn't
spider
kill it
free?
really.
I don't think I killed it.
You're spider free,
It
don't
should be on
worry.
the floor.
You can practice with spiders. For example, yeah, we have like tons of spiders in where we are. And
We've got a lot of tenants.
yes, and what I wanted to say was that I was actually when I was younger, I used to be afraid of spiders. But
mm,
at one point when I was in my early 20s, and then I went into like I found myself on a bicycle trip,
mm.
and I went into Latvian forest, very, very old forest as
Oh yeah,
well. And because I have this open tent where all of the bugs can come in and out very
yeah.
easily.
Seen that one.
Yeah, you've seen
Mm.
that one. Yeah, we actually met
At the
tenting in the same area, meant camping in the same area. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
we were all it was a
Yeah, you had your tent
few
up.
hundreds of people,
Mm,
and we were all sleeping in tents.
mm, mm,
So yeah, then I had a lot of spiders in the tent in this Latvian forest. And so I was trying to read a book. It was late at night. I had a torch burning, And then the spiders kept on climbing on my book all the time, and I was still a little bit afraid of them.
Mm.
So what I did was I started practicing with them. I started to watch their lives and to overcome my fear of spiders by that.
Yeah.
And now I've developed it that far that I see that spiders are actually, I mean, they are considered to be very lucky animals, animals that bring luck. That's also what my mother is always saying. And, because they also have the string that they're producing. So I feel like,
Yeah.
like, yeah. I mean,
Yeah. They're in their own way very beautiful.
they're
They're
very
very beautiful, but
beautiful.
that can also
They're
make them.
magnificent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's possible to be spookily beautiful, and some
Yes,
spiders are a bit
spookily
spooky.
beautiful. That's
Yeah,
true.
I
And
find, I find that when they get to a certain size, they spook me out. But
like,
if they're beneath a
yeah,
certain size, then
but
they
I
don't bug
feel
me
like
too much.
when you are looking at the
Yeah,
spider, for example, if you get past the initial reaction of
yeah,
wanting to get the bug off because
mm,
that's like a survival instinct
yeah,
from our
mm,
own survivalism. If you get through that,
mm,
then you can really feel the spider, and you can see that ultimately it's also a
mm.
like being just as you are.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a living
Yeah,
creature. It's got its
yeah,
own place in
yeah.
the world, and it's
And
got
then
a
you
place in the
develop a
ecosystem. Yeah.
relationship with them, and
Mm,
also then you
yeah.
see that the spiders themselves start to respect you a lot more
Mm,
because you are sort of like, for example, you see a spider
mm.
and first you can see their legs and all of
Yeah.
their
Well, your
their
body language for sure. If you're all
yes,
jittery
yes,
about and
yes.
they've got the spider, the
And if you
spider's
look
going to
at
freak
them
out.
and you just
Yeah.
send your loving energy toward them, then you see that they can feel it,
Yeah.
they can definitely feel it, and
Mm,
then you can establish a very deep, very beautiful connection with them.
yeah.
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 So
Wow.
spiderology.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also used to
Arachnology.
have this reaction of like initially brushing the guy off, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean nowadays I have it more with the how do you
Mm.
say the bugs who have the big ears,
Cockroaches.
cockroaches. Yeah,
Really?
because
Oh.
I saw a cockroach here yesterday, and that one
Yeah.
was a little spooky.
What in here?
In here,
Nice one.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but because I don't know what's the mythology about. But with spiders, it's easy. They build a nest and then they are there. They're
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
protective, very, very
Yeah. I
protective.
think I think cockroaches live on all sorts. I mean, this caravan is very old. This caravan's 35, 40 years old. It's been here
Yeah,
a long
yeah, yeah.
time.
It's a
So
static one. It's a static
yeah,
one, so we cannot
filled with
drive away with it.
yeah.
Otherwise, we would definitely put it behind our car and just drive away and go into places with it.
I
But
don't think you get very far with this one. Yeah.
yeah, you
The
cannot
wheels are all gone,
get
and yeah,
too far.
it's
Yeah.
filled with holes. But it's nice and it's warm.
It's
It's dry,
super warm, yeah, yeah.
and yeah, yeah,
Especially it gets very, very quickly very warm. Right now
does
it does feel like a sauna, to be honest,
yeah, it's getting
because
pretty hot. Yeah, I think
we
there's a lot of wood in there.
just
So
burned it so well,
yeah,
and probably have to let a
yeah.
little bit of fresh air in
Maybe
later.
maybe I should cook on this in a little bit rather than on
Yeah,
the gas.
yeah, yeah. We could do that. We
Yeah, get
just offered a bunch of very
mm,
beautiful vegetables
oh,
from the family, so
mm,
it's all food
mm.
from the land, fruit from their own growth,
Yeah, just from
which
right
is
outside. It's like
yeah, which
yeah,
is super super beautiful. So I'm
yeah,
actually really happy to
mm.
be here with you.
Yeah,
Really very
yeah. I'm happy
happy
to
to
be
be
with
here.
you. Yeah,
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 and
yeah,
to manage these 2 weeks and what it's gonna bring, what
yeah.
it's gonna teach us.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah, I think I've got some, sounds like I've got some fairly hard work for me tomorrow. I'm going to
yeah.
be um, processing an ash tree that's fallen down, but there was no mention of a chainsaw. There was only mention of an axe. So I think I'm just going to be hacking at it with an axe. So that'll be, well, like a sweat.
So we will get
Yeah.
our bodies into work and into being alive and being helpful,
Mm, mm.
and for that we can live here in the caravan and enjoy
Yeah.
the beautiful whales.
Yeah, yeah. It's just great feeling useful, feeling like you're doing something productive. Yeah, for
Yes, it
sure.
is great feeling
It really is
useful.
incredible what they've achieved here. They're, I mean, so much of what they have they just produce just locally. Even the stone, they've started a quarry not too far away, and so they can
Yeah,
even source stone for building walls and all sorts. It's just in all the houses they built here, they built themselves out of wood. It's
yeah, it's pretty impressive. They have like
yeah,
a really big land
mm.
actually,
And the wood's locally
really
sourced as
really
well.
big.
Um, Yeah, it's really, really impressive. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Building your own houses and building
yeah,
your own land. Yes.
yeah.
And yeah, and I also thought
Mm,
about this community that it's actually very strange. It's not
mm,
really a community, it's more
mm.
like a village, as they say.
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah, for sure.
yeah,
I was wondering there'd be more of a community feel, but does seem to be based on that more traditional um British idea of lots of different households that
so
are all
it's
pretty much
like a
independent.
village, like a
Yeah,
shire in
yeah,
the Lord of the Rings, basically.
yeah, yeah.
Everybody likes to keep to themselves, but there's this communal hub. There's
There
the
is, yeah,
communal
yeah,
hub where they
yeah,
sometimes have things
yeah.
happening in
Mm,
there.
yeah. I think it looks like it. I got the impression it was used more in the summer months than in the winter months, but maybe that's incorrect. 'Cause when we went there, it was a little bit. Well, there was not much happening there. The kitchen was closed as well, wasn't it? But
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I'm sure they have stuff happening
yeah.
there. It looked like it was well kept, so they are using it.
Yeah, I
So
mean, we did meet a few
mm,
other people,
yeah, we
but
did.
it seems that, some people don't even know each other's names.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah,
so it's like a village. It's like a village where, yeah,
yeah.
there's a lot of households, like 20 households or so.
Yeah, there's 20 households that actually like are living here full time that are part of the land and have a stake in the property. And then they bring in volunteers like you and
Yeah,
me,
like us. Yeah, yeah,
periodically for be it for a few weeks or be it for a few
yeah. Yeah.
months.
Well, there's a dear, another
Mm,
lady we saw who is here for 3 months
yeah,
already.
Mog,
She's
yeah,
been,
she was there
yeah,
cooking for them.
yeah, she
Yeah,
was doing cooking.
yeah,
She's every day cooking for about 10 or 11 people.
mm,
But that's again in another household, so we haven't seen that much yet. Haven't
yeah,
seen that much
yeah,
yet. Yeah.
yeah,
But hopefully,
mm.
very much looking forward to, going around and seeing other people as well,
Yeah, it'd be
and
nice to. Yeah, yeah,
knocking on their doors, asking how they're doing,
yeah,
how their life
yeah.
is like here.
Been hearing music happening in one of the households across the road. Been hearing like people playing drums and instruments and all
Yeah,
sorts, and this makes me
yeah,
like
yeah.
kind of.
Yeah,
I kind of
it
wish I could just go get involved,
awakens
but I
the
don't.
spirit of like
Yeah,
our also
yeah, yeah.
try.
But anxious about interrupting them when they're in the middle of their flow because it does feel a bit more
You
private.
have
Feels
to
more
kind
like
of go this like
yeah,
uh, in tune with them, in tune with their being.
exactly. I don't know how
And
it would
I
be.
actually do my
Yeah,
own guitar and your drum,
yeah, yeah, yeah. My
so
drum is
we
in
could
the car.
actually, do something.
Yeah, yeah. No, your guitar's there.
Sometimes playing them
Yeah.
and
Mm,
awakening their spirit.
mm,
Yeah, which is
mm.
very, very nice. Nice to harmonize with the universe through
Yeah,
the tones.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm not. Um, I don't know as much about playing instruments and music as I'd like to. It's something I really want to explore. So
yeah,
yeah, I'm liking this. It's started to
yeah.
rain now, so
I mean,
it's quite cozy with
yes,
the rain
it's
coming down.
super cozy.
Yeah,
We also have like
mm,
in the hut we have this
mm.
thing on top of it, like
Yeah, that hatch.
yeah, yeah, the hatch. So if you have seen this series called Lost, where they have like this hut under the ground that you can go through the hatch, we have a similar hatch here,
Mm,
and we kind of are in the middle of nowhere and totally out of society. I haven't been really talking to anybody because I don't have internet. We only have a little bit of data of Flux,
yeah, yeah,
and
mm,
yeah, so we're kind of similarly in the middle of nowhere.
yeah.
Nobody knows about us,
Survival. Yeah,
basically,
mm,
and just sort of doing this series of vlogs.
yeah.
I feel
I feel like it's a good place to be there.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, and I kind of like to save
mm,
these different parts of my life and my journey because I
yeah,
know later on I will be very, very
mm,
grateful for it, for the different things I've done.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Even though right here it
mm,
feels like it's normal, but it's there to record anyway.
yeah,
But I know that it is something that I thought about when I was actually very young,
mm,
like recording of my life. Initially, I thought about it in a way of writing a book, and
mm,
I actually am writing a book as well.
yeah. Wow.
But I feel like this technological things that we have in the life, it's like they're providing so many possibilities
mm.
that it would be a waste not to use them
Yeah, yeah,
and not
yeah, man.
to record yourself in a history
Yeah, it's another
in
medium,
some way. In
and
yes,
another
another
medium, and it
medium. Yeah,
has its own things that it can offer that, that words can't always offer. So,
that's very,
yeah,
very true.
mm,
Yeah, it's always much more with the moving picture of it as well.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but sure, words
mm,
can also offer a lot.
yeah,
Words and poetry and this part of life.
mm,
So yeah,
mm,
super good being here.
yeah,
Super good being here.
absolutely, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's very peaceful there, and the people you can tell they've got it figured out. They've got a good system going, and they're that they've got all they need here really, and that's really
Yeah,
quite inspiring that they've managed that, but just on their own sweat off their
yeah.
own brow. Um, it's really impressive. Yeah,
Inspiring is a very
it
good
really
word
is.
for it.
Yeah, yeah. You wouldn't expect to find something like this so close to home, really. You'd think you'd have to go so really far abroad. I would have thought to find
Actually,
somewhere like
very
this,
cool.
and yeah, here it is, just
You
in
can find your
West Wales.
traveling just in the next door, in the
Yeah,
neighborhood,
yeah,
even where you are.
yeah.
Can still find your traveling doesn't always have to bring you to the other side of the world.
Mm,
That's what I have learned.
mm.
Yeah. So it's super nice, super nice. We have the rain, we
We
have a
do.
very warm being,
Yeah, we do.
and I guess today we are also going
Strange.
to have shower,
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna have a shower. That's been a good. Been a minute. I've been washing
which is nice.
basins
We haven't been
before that.
washing for
Yeah,
um
exactly. Just that.
yeah. That's
Yeah,
another thing that comes with the life of living off grid
yeah. I
basically.
warmed up some water this morning for a bit of a wash, but like you can't have like a. It's not the same as a shower. You can't. Yeah, can't beat a
Yes,
shower.
you can't really.
Yeah,
You can only have a piece of cloth and wash yourself inside a bowl.
yeah,
But
exactly. Yeah,
that's like a
mm.
primordial way of cleaning
Yeah, it
yourself.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then you can start to wonder what is there to clean anyway. But it sort of makes you feel psychologically better.
yeah. Of course. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And you feel
yeah,
fresh.
yeah. You feel fresh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. I'm just thinking there's something else that we would like to talk about.
Mm.
Um, maybe you want to say a few words about the Isle of Man and the history of it.
Yeah, yeah. The Isle of Man's fascinating. Um, so it's often forgotten really that people think about, oh, is that just a part of Scotland or something? But no, it's not. It's not at all. They're related to the Scots and to the Irish because they're a Gaelic people, so Celtic, of the Q Celtic branch of languages. So they settled there during the early Middle Ages, around the same time that the Scots are moving it deeper into what's now Scotland, and the English are coming into what's now England. You have these Gaels coming into the Isle of Man, and they already have this pre-existing legend about the god Manannan. Manannan mac Lir is in the Irish, um, and he's a god of the sea. And it's clear that Manannan mac Lir has some close connection to the Isle of Man. He's believed to be the Lord of Man, and there's a mountain on the Isle of Man where it's tradition on a
So how
certain.
big is the island?
Oh, it's not that big.
Mm.
I think it's from memory. I think it's about 9 miles across it, and then maybe 15 miles north to south, something like that. It's not that long. Like you could travel west to east in a full day's walking, and then north
All
to
right.
south maybe in 2 days. Um, so it's not that big, but it is big enough that they've developed their own identity without having to be dependent on other lands.
Yeah.
Um, and it's tradition that people will go to the top of a particular mountain on a particular day. I think it was the 1st of August, but I might be wrong. Um, to pay rent to Manannan, the god Manannan, and it
Mm.
would just
Oh,
be
right. To
uh,
pay respect to the god
yeah, and
for
they would
keeping the island safe. Right.
exactly, and they'd
Yeah.
pay rent in the form of a bushel of reeds.
Mm.
That's all he asked for. He asked for a bushel of reeds at the top of the mountain, and that's his rent for using the island from him, and that's an old tradition, goes back hundreds of years, and it's a very fascinating island. It was ruled by the Vikings, um, and then by the Scots, and then by the Normans, and
Vikings,
um,
Scots, Normans.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It was in
Yeah.
fact it was a capital of a Viking kingdom that
And who is living
ruled.
there now?
Now they're not technically part of the United Kingdom, but they are a dependent territory or something like that. But they're totally autonomous. So they've got their own currency, um, which is legal tender in the UK technically, but no one will accept it because it's so strange. I don't know if it's so weird to see. But the Manx pound is the same as the British pound, but it looks different. They've got the old banknotes, all papery, um, and they have their own parliament, the Tynwald, which still governs the island by itself, and they manage everything by themselves, really. Um, we
So
just
they're still worshipping the gods and
yeah.
still very spiritual there,
Oh
right?
well, they're Christian majority. They're Protestant actually, which is unusual for because this has had a big influence on their history. I imagine if they
Yeah,
were Catholic, they
yeah.
probably things. I imagine that the UK government in centuries past would not have been so kind on them.
Hmm.
But they're mostly Protestant, as far as I know. Um, and that's been part of their history. And yeah, they survived with this fairy folklore that's very important to them
Yeah,
all the way through.
folklore, mythology, the history
Yeah,
of it,
yeah.
yes.
Used to be very
Because
important
I
in
feel
Wales as
like
well.
all the time, like
Yeah.
when there is a topic of island, they have a totally
Mm,
different evolution there. Because
mm,
islands
mm.
are separated from
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
bigger land, so they
Mm,
can develop much further with their own belief systems
yeah,
and
yeah.
with their own land. It can be a lot
Mm.
more sacred.
Yeah, yeah, they're
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
every part of the land has some kind of story associated with it, and it's considered to be very important. They've got the ferry bridges where you cross. We had to say hello to the fairies, or it's bad luck.
Yes, it was
Um,
very super important.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and
And then when we were also traveling in Snowdonia,
yeah,
then
yeah.
also when we saw the, what was it, the hawthorn tree,
Hawthorn
hawthorn,
tree,
then
yeah,
also we were saying hello to the
yeah,
fairies. It's a very, very interesting
mm,
tree. It's from Glastonbury area where young
yeah.
Jesus was traveling with his uncle,
Mm.
and his uncle was a tin merchant.
Joseph of
And
Arimathea, is that the one?
yeah, and then they were Jesus was putting the stuff into the ground, and then later also the
Mm.
hawthorn tree started to grow there. And it's a very sacred tree which only grows in this part of the country.
Mm.
And
The Hawthorn at Glastonbury, yeah, it's endemic
oh,
to
it's a
to
different
that
species,
place.
right?
It's a subspecies.
It's a
The
subspecies. Yeah, oh, right. Well,
Glastonbury
anyway,
thorn.
it's got very
Yeah.
beautiful red berries, and the one that's in Glastonbury, that's the one that is producing flowers only during the Christmas time and during the Eastern time.
Mm.
So twice a year.
Twice a year.
It's very, very special tree. Very, very
Yeah, yeah.
special. But the
Mm.
other one we saw in Snowdonia, that's a different species,
Yeah,
subspecies.
that's a
Yeah,
regular
a
what's
regular
called
one.
common hawthorn. So
A common one,
yeah,
right?
Crataegus monogyna.
Yeah.
Um, if you go in some parts of England, you also find another species that we've not encountered yet, called um, Crataegus laevigata, and that's the Midlands hawthorn, and that has
Oh, that's the
pink
Midlands one.
flowers
Right.
rather than white flowers, and
Right.
the slightly different leaves as well.
Well, I
Yeah.
always found it very, very beautiful.
Mm,
For example, 4 years ago when I was starting my travels, and I was actually during the same time in October, I was
mm,
in the Dartmoor National Park, which is in the southwest of England. Then there's also a lot of these hawthorn trees. And
yeah.
often I was putting my tent under these trees.
Mm,
And I felt very, very safe there.
yeah,
Very,
yeah.
very nice there.
Old
Yeah.
legend all throughout the British
And they're
Isles.
super beautiful. When
That
you're on top of a mountain,
yeah.
there is not a lot of forest around. And then you
Mm,
can put your clothes to hang on top
mm.
of a tree. There was a lot of these rainy days, so it was super peaceful.
Find some shelter. Yeah,
Yeah,
some
to find
windbreak.
shelter also
Mm.
under the trees. Yeah, so yeah, hawthorn trees, hawthorn trees.
Yeah, they're
Also
very,
another
very nice.
place where you have to definitely say hello to the fairies
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
see
yeah. So,
that they accommodate you.
yeah,
Yeah,
most of Ireland, it's bad luck to when you have a single hawthorn tree in the middle of a field or such. Very bad luck to cut it down, and a lot of farmers won't do it even to this day, because it's always been held for traditions,
yeah,
hundreds of years
yeah,
back
and they carry
that a
the
single
sacred energy through
yeah
that.
that a single
Yeah.
hawthorn tree is usually considered to be a home to the fae in some way, and it would be very. you'd be inviting a lot
So
of
they're
bad luck
very
onto
holy
yourself.
trees, so we
So
have
you've
to
got it down.
really,
So
really respect them. Really respect
yeah, well, they're
them.
very beautiful and they're very valuable for
Yeah.
birds as well. And you can eat the berries, and it's rare that you'll get so much food just for free, just out in the wild. You can just grab it and take it. And they've got a very savoury taste rather than a sweet taste, kind of nutty. Um, but there's so many of them that you can just
Sweet and
gather them.
nutty. Sweet and
No,
nutty.
no, no, they're not sweet. They're kind of savoury, nutty.
A
Yeah,
savory.
yeah. And so
Right, right,
they're not very sweet.
right.
Not like a blackberry.
Not like a
Blackberries are
blackberry.
sweet.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
were just having a black currant juice before,
yeah,
and
we were.
this
Yeah,
was totally different.
yeah,
Totally
yeah.
different. Yeah.
Mm,
Um. Right.
yeah. Should we wrap up?
So yeah, I'm
Mm,
just thinking what to say at the end. Probably just to say that we are doing pretty well, pretty safe.
mm, mm,
I always like to point it out because
mm.
my own travels can get me into very interesting places. And
Cool.
just to say to you that even though I know I will be producing or putting it up later on when the whales time is over, but yeah, we are doing safe, we are doing well, and I'm trying to find more interesting topics to cover
Yeah, there's a lot to talk
and
about for sure.
to talk
Yeah.
about just spirituality and what is in the stars, what is in the moon, what is going on in the world for me and for us, and in general. And that I've been very, very happy to introduce you also, Luke,
Mm,
my
mm.
very, very dear travel partner right now, and that it's gonna be probably super interesting doing this series together with
Yeah,
you.
there's more we can talk about. I could talk more about my time when I was learning bushcraft skills and
Yes,
what made me want
yeah,
to learn that.
yeah. We can talk
Yeah.
about species and ferns
Mm,
and everything
yeah,
and
yeah.
anything
Yeah, exactly.
nature connected. We
Mm,
can talk a lot about
mm,
nature with you.
mm,
So, right. I wish you all a beautiful day. And as
mm,
always, I thank all of my supporters, all of the people who have been sending prayers, who have been supporting me with financially, and all of the people who are just interested in my way of life, in my travels. And I hope that you will continuously stay inspired and stay well, stay safe, and basically have a beautiful
mm,
day, beautiful time, and all of the other good words, good wishes
mm.
on your ways. Right.
All right.
So, bye bye.
Bye.